Hello out there, YouTube community. I have a little bit of a longer video here today. Today's video, I'm going to be filming Resident Evil Outbreak File 1 Stage Decisions on very hard difficulty. I am going to turn Infinity Mode on. I'll explain the reason for that in a moment. Now, one of the reasons why I use the data convert from File 2 to File 1 is it makes everything available for unlock, including Infinity Mode, but you still have to get the result points to unlock everything. Alright, I've been having trouble with Outbreak. There is one item in the event checklist I need. It's a scream in front of Jack's bar after you escape the countdown timer in the apartment building. Alright, when you first run into Raymond. I've played that level probably 100 times or more and have not got that scream, even though it's supposed to be a 1/16th probability of happening every time you play. Alright, so the reason I'm using Infinity Mode is decisions on very hard difficulty. You do not have enough handgun rounds to do what I'm going to do, which is beat the whole level using the handgun. Now there's a story behind this. When Capcom's servers were still online for this game, which was back in 2009, I think, when they shut them down, the final weekend that these servers were online, we had almost 250 players online, probably the highest I'd ever seen the entire time that I had the network adapter hooked up to my PS2 and was playing these games. So they had a friendly fire lobby where you could set up a mission on any of these 5 stages, but friendly fire was turned on. So if one of your partner players ran in front of your line of fire shooting a handgun or swinging a melee weapon or throwing a throwing weapon, they would actually get hit by it and take damage. So I went into a decisions match in friendly fire on easy difficulty. I used a little bit of deception and pretended that I was somebody's friend, just trying the game out and had never played before. The other 3 players, I was using Cindy, claimed they were going to run a train on me, is what they exactly said in the lobby. All right, but being on easy difficulty, I knew where the handgun magazine, and most of the handgun round power-ups were when you first start the level. So what I did was, I ran through the rooms in the 2nd floor to get the handgun and the handgun magazine and some handgun rounds. And then I made sure to get the blue gem and the red gem to open the study, which is the secret room on the back side of the staircase in the entrance hall. I waited down in the study. The player using Kevin came in. As soon as I seen him load up on my screen, I manually aimed my gun upward, shooting up the stairs at him till I knocked him to the ground. Left him to the ground till his virus gauge hit over 90%, picked him up, left him in danger, left the room. Ran over to the elevator, activated the elevator. So I stood in the passage because there's only one way in there. The player using David and the player using Yoko came in. I immediately started shooting them, knocked them both to the ground. Kevin comes in the room, I shoot him down. So all 3 of them are down. I let all 3 of their virus gauges hit 100%. They all 3 respawned as a zombie. I killed all 3 of them, and then about an hour and a half later, I completed the level on easy difficulty using the handgun completely solo. For today's video, I'm going to try to do it on very hard, just to show those 3 players, if they're still out there and by chance stumble across my YouTube channel, what they were up against in 2009. I'll use Cindy's normal costume. Now, while the loading screen is going on to the cutscenes and everything, I'm going to let all the cutscenes play as well. So like I said, this will be a longer video. On very hard difficulty, you find 2 grenade launchers, I think 1 or 2 assault rifles, and a couple mags, and 1 handgun. And that's all the weapons you find that shoot projectiles. Everything else is melee weapons or throwing weapons.
Too much growth weakens an organization, which the important becomes overshadowed by speed. Mass production? Ridiculous!
And here we see George at the Raccoon City Police Department, likely before the stage decisions occurs. In fact, in File 2, if you play with George on Desperate Times, he'll reference going to Raccoon University. Now, George kind of gives you a hint if you've seen it by going this way into the door into the first floor passages. I'm going to go first upstairs because this is the only handgun you find until you meet with Greg and the UBCS sniper kills Greg. And then Greg drops a handgun. For the purposes of simulation, I'm going to carry a pack of handgun rounds and a handgun magazine to simulate having only one inventory slot through the whole level. Now, the entrance hall is a safe room until you go into a room that has zombies. Once you go into a room that has zombies, the zombies will then start breaking through the doors and chasing you into the main hall. The passage elevator room on regular mode has a typewriter. Typewriters inside the room indicate it's a safe room. You will not run into any zombies. But the reason I'm coming in here is mainly for this red herb. Grab the map. And there's a green herb here. Other than that, there's not a whole lot you can do in this room until you get the elevator code memo, which is when you find Peter's dead body. There is a lighter right here. I haven't found a whole lot of uses for it yet in this level, unless you're playing as David. Now with Cindy on this level, there is a shortcut to get the blue gem. You do not have to go into the drawing room and the president's room. You can go straight to the art gallery and play the piano. It's also part of the event checklist to do this. So it adds to your result points at the end of the level, which I'm going to get a huge nerf because I'm using infinity mode. But on very hard difficulty, you find a total of 70 handgun rounds for the whole level. That's it. And 10 of them are in the president's room. And on very hard difficulty, the handgun I picked up has 0 rounds in it initially. I'm going to need those blue herbs. Going to the B4th floor. Have to fight spiders and freaking bees. Shit. Damn it. I'm also going to show you how to open testing passage 1, because you can only do that with the brass spectacles, and on very hard you can only do that with Alyssa with the brass spectacles because she finds them in a locked locker in the control room. But I need this for 927, part of the elevator code. You can break this door open. Or I'm sorry, testing passage A. Now the reason you're going to want to break this open, right out of the gate, there's a first aid spray. These are few and far between on even this level. But if you run down here and climb up the ladder, there is an extra grenade launcher with 4 burst rounds in it. You'll need that on very hard difficulty without infinity mode. So it's a good idea to trick Tyrant into breaking the door down by swinging at you and dodging his attack in front of that door, or breaking it down by shoulder tackling it, shooting it, melee weapons, whatever your choice of getting through the door is.
Oh, hi. Yeah. Of course there's time to pet you. Absolutely. I'll take a short break to pet the kitty cat. Yes, photobomb level expert Gus.
Okay, this is a one-way door. You can go through this door back to the main hall. You cannot open it from the main hall. The doorknob's broken. Okay, and as you can hear, there are zombies breaking through a door somewhere, so I'm no longer in a safe room. Whoop, time to run. See if I can drag all three of them out here and pick them off one by one. Put some distance between me and them. Try to avoid the stairs. They can move faster up the stairs than you can. Okay, one down, two to go. on very hard, the clock code is always going to be 250. Once I get to a safe room, I'll show you how to use the number memo to get that. I'll have to look at doing a video with Jim too. I learned something using him on Outbreak. But I'll do a how-to video and show you how to use Jim as an attacker. Using his little lucky coin. Even though Jim has the lowest health out of the male characters and one of the fastest virus gauges, if you use his lucky coin properly with firearms, he can be more devastating than Kevin or Alyssa can, even with their ability to pot shot. All right. Okay, so now I'm in a safe room. Let me show you how to get the clock code. All right. Go to page 5 of the memo first. See the hour 53 minute 27. All right, so go back to page 1. See the 5s? They're in the shape of a 0. All right, the 3s are in the shape of a 2. The 2s are in the shape of a 5. And the 7s are in the shape of a 0. That's how you solve that to get the red gem. Okay, now to get the elevator code and 2 memos from Peter's dead body about making the daylight and what regions I will need. And I got zombies breaking in through a door, so I'm going to have to move quickly. So this was a great room to ambush Kevin because there's only one way in and it's a bottleneck. So I literally stood right here and just manually aimed up to kill him. Now on very hard, Peter turns into a zombie. And that's because when he was killed, his throat was slashed. Okay, that takes care of that. Okay, torn memo, changed elevator code 4. I think the elevator code, the first digit's always 4. Okay, here's the region generation memo for how to make daylight using P-base, V-poison, and T-blood. Now the P-base, the memo notes, you got to get it in an airtight storage device. All right. If it's not in an airtight case, within a few seconds it dissolves. B poison, V poison, and the T blood. Blood from a creature infected with the T virus. A sample from Greg should be arriving. And then bloodstained memo from Peter telling George, hey, I'm a dead man. Hurry up and create the Regent and get the hell out of Raccoon. So Peter must have known that they're going to call in an airstrike or otherwise destroy Raccoon City. Since RE2, Umbrella has been adamant at showing through the series that they will try to kill anybody who makes a cure to the virus or does anything that would otherwise impede Umbrella's quest to use the virus as a weapon against mankind. Chronologically, in the timeline of things, Decisions takes place on the morning of Leon and Claire arriving in Raccoon City. Which, from the Resident Evil 2 title, pretty much all of us RE fans know, Leon and Claire arrive in the evening, and by the morning, as they escape Raccoon City, the airstrike calls in, and Raccoon City is destroyed. All right. I got to go through my memos again. 4 and 927. Okay, now the elevator's been activated. All right, let's go up to the 3rd floor. Okay, there's a hidden first aid spray here. I'm going to grab it and then swap it out for the handgun rounds. Now the first aid spray is visible. If I need to come back later and use that, I can. And now my inventory's filled up, so now I can do the simulation. Large antivirus. Oh my. You're going to need those on this level, just so you guys know. Okay, herb case is full. There's also a large recovery medicine in here, but I'm going to leave that for later. If I remember correctly, I'd have to look it up on GameFAQs. Excuse me. Large recovery medicines restore 2,400 vitality, which is more than a red, green, and blue herb mixed by, I think, 50 or 100 vitality. The large recovery medicines in File 1 are equivalent to 3 regular in File 2 and are still obtained by combining a red and a blue herb with George's Dr. Kit. Okay, there's George on the ground. He was trying to get the Regent components, but this is where we find he goes down. And he never got the Regents. So he never made daylight. He never made it out of Raccoon City. If you play as George on this level, Cindy is one of your AI partners, and you can get a special ending with both of them. You can actually kill both of these sharks. I'm not going to take the time to do all that. They're easy enough to avoid. There is a first aid spray on this catwalk if you need it. Okay, the other shark jumped out of the water. I'm safe. The shark inside the catwalk will not jump up and hit you, but the one outside of it will. And if it hits you, it'll knock you into the water. Trust me, you do not want to deal with them sharks when you're in the water. They can insta-kill you by diving under you and coming straight up out of the water and swallowing you whole, regardless of what your health level is. There is a green herb up here too if you need it. And enter Thanatos versus the UBCS members, armed with MP5 submachine guns.
Calm down. You must give me your blood.
Hey, something's wrong. So, that's what your distance said. What the?
Impressive. I won't underestimate you next time. It must be going to the man. Might as well set it up. Just in case.
Now, if you're wondering why the sniper didn't try to kill Thanatos, all right, let me run down and grab the file. Battle plan. Emperor's Mushroom, area of operation within 4 blocks of Raccoon University. Time 60 minutes starting at 5:35 a.m. Arms. Basic armament C2 plus extractor. Purpose. To gather T's blood, codename T blood, or kill T and retrieve its body. So the reason the sniper didn't take Thanatos out was the UBCS orders were to get its blood and only kill it if obtaining its blood was simply not possible by other means. And then if they have to kill T, they're also supposed to destroy the entire area. Make sure you grab the map. That's part of your event checklist. If you're playing without infinite ammo or infinite ammo, there are burst rounds on the semi-truck. There's 2 of them. There is a hidden assault rifle magazine right here that does not flash. All right. You find the assault rifle when you go for the V poison. For now, I'm just going to focus on getting the T blood. So let me use the key card. Now, once Thanatos appears, you'll no longer have to worry about dealing with zombies inside the university's main hall and the subsequent rooms around it. What you will have to deal with is Thanatos chasing you through the rooms, similar to the way Tyrant chases Claire and Leon in the B scenario of Resident Evil 2. To do that, you have to enter the main hall again. That's what I forgot to do. Okay, Thanatos breaks in. I no longer have to worry about zombies. To make things simple, just do your little quick turn and head back through the door. Don't worry, he'll come find you in this passage. I assure you of that. Now, I do want to make a point on something. On hard difficulty, this switch to electrocute Thanatos will not work. You will have to get him in one of the testing passages. So it's a little bit harder than doing it on very hard difficulty. Okay, enter Thanatos. Stand just in range so he sees me. Oh shit, insta-kill. Damn it. There we go. Now I can get the T-blood. Use an herb. He gets right back up, so don't use too much time in this area. The P base is harder to get than the V poison is, because you got to deal with hunters, but not the normal green hunters. These ones are aquatic ones that have been mixed with some type of frog. I think they're called gamma hunters. Their melee attacks do less damage, but they can insta-kill you, and they're in areas where there's water. And if they knock you into the water, they have the clear advantage. They can also insta-kill you in the water. And the way they insta-kill you is by grabbing you and eating you and swallowing you whole. Oh, shit. You motherfucker. All right. Get up that ladder, Cindy. Oops, accidentally hit start. That's just the entrance of the Gamma Hunter. There's 3 of them in here, by the way. There is one in here that jumps out. He's swimming right now. You stay in there long enough, he'll jump out and come after you. Now, there's a nice little Easter egg here in the shed. This is where you find the other grenade launcher. But I want you to see the room. That's why I'm coming in here to get the map. All right. This is actually storage room 2 in Underbelly that only Jim can access by crawling through the ventilation ducts, except in Underbelly, this door is barricaded by debris and you can't go through it. But that should tell you exactly how close the subway tunnel is to the university. Now, the subway Underbelly takes place during the day also, so it is likely chronologically correct that Underbelly would have occurred a day prior to Decisions, or the day of Decisions, where they would have occurred simultaneously. We know from the ending of Underbelly that they find out they had to turn back to the city because the subway tunnel was blocked, and if you're playing as Jim indicates the subway never would have got him out of the city anyway. But it's nighttime when they get out of the subway, and you'll find at the end of this level, if I survive, it's also nighttime. Okay, avoid these 2 idiots. There's one. Get the other one to jump up here. I might have to shoot him. Alright. See if I can get these clowns to jump up here. You definitely don't want to try to get past them while they're in the water. They will knock you off that catwalk into the water. All right, there's one. Get down. Stay down. Okay, I can get past him. Yeah, they don't move real fast. Okay, I'm still fine. Now, the normal route that you're supposed to take to get the sealed Regent case is to go back through the room that has the 3 Gamma Hunters. There's 2 grenade rounds in there too, the burst rounds for the grenade launcher, but you have to climb along the pipes. And if you're climbing along the pipes, they'll jump into the water and knock you off the pipes. So you either have to kill them to take that route, or you can take an alternative route that might take you a little bit longer, but will increase your odds of survival. This is how I did it when I played through with limited ammo on very hard difficulty. I didn't go through the process of trying to fight the hunters and wasting valuable ammo that I was going to later need for Thanatos. Virus gauge 28%. Oh shit. Ooh, that was close. Now I got time, I'll grab a first aid spray. Okay, make sure my health is full. But basically what I'm doing with this first aid spray is I'm transporting it to an area where it's going to be needed later on. Alright. I'm going to save that blue herb because that I might need. But what I'm not going to need, since I'm using the handgun for the whole level, I'm not going to need the assault rifle magazine. So, there it is. And put the first aid spray there. Alright, now. There will be one of the Gamma Hunters over here on this side of the water purification facility. It's kind of a roll of the dice if you get past him climbing down the ladder without getting hit. But you don't even have to worry about killing him. Because you're not going to come back through this area anyway. But using this route will allow you to save valuable ammo that you'll need for the later end of the stages of the stage where you got to fight Thanatos. More handgun rounds. Now there is a red herb in this room if you want to fight the hunter to get it. If you need it, you need it. If you don't, you don't. I don't need it, so I'm gonna run right past. Okay, now that the lock has been released on that door that I just came through, I can come up here to get the sealed Regent case. If you're listening to the sounds of the hunters, they're jumping in and out of the water, so you can take them down and knock them down, but eventually they will get back up. Okay, nothing else needed here. Now let me show you how to handle these two clowns so you can make it out of here without dying. And you can do this with the grenade launcher. You can shoot them through the fence with the grenade launcher. Okay, there's one more you dumbasses around here somewhere. Oh, okay, he's all the way. He doesn't even... Alright, I better move. Okay, now I jumped in the water. Now he's aware of my presence. See how they get back up? Get down. Pretty sure he just... Alright. Now, as you can see, I'd already be out of handgun rounds after shooting just one of them if I had limited ammo. On easy difficulty, you find enough ammo to literally blast your way through the whole level with the handgun. Okay, I got the sealed P base. Okay, there's a zombie here, I know that. There he is. So what is that, 3 packs of handgun rounds I've found so far? So yeah, I'd already be out of ammo. By the way, you do not want to kill the zombie that's down here in the water. If you kill him in the water, he'll respawn breaking through the door up top, and you'll have 2 zombies to deal with there instead of 1. Okay, and I got 2 of the 3 components. Okay, I got the recovery medicine, first aid spray up here if I need them. And we're ready to head to the 4th floor of the basement, which takes you actually, when you get out of this corridor and get through this small area, takes you to the subway tracks. Okay, hold on to that in case I get hit. Make sure to get the map.
Over there! We have to go.
Ah, you motherfucker. Whew. Whew, that was close. Put some distance between me and this spider. Okay, that's 2 down. There's 4 of them in here, by the way. This is proof women are capable of killing spiders. There are 10 handgun rounds in here, but they don't show up, so I'll show you where they're at. See, I'm old school Resident Evil. I know how to manually aim. Not 100% with it. Here's where the handgun rounds are. They don't light up, so you won't know they're there unless you are able to look. But the reason I'll show you where some of that stuff is, if you don't have Infinity Mode unlocked and you're trying to play through, it's good to know what's where. And I'm at the subway tracks. Okay, it's blue herb. I'm going to need that for sure. I think there's a green herb up here. I mean, as you can see, they put enough herbs. They put enough herbs on the level. You can go through without Cindy's herb case and still survive. It's a little bit of a different learning curve and a little bit more challenging, but it can be done. Now, in this area, there's a bunch of bees in the tunnel. You can go into the subway car to avoid the bees, but you'll find 3 zombies waiting for you, a first aid spray, I think a red herb, and the assault rifle. I'm not really in need of that stuff. There's a curved iron pipe there, too. Oh, shit. This might be a challenge. Let me get back into it. Yeah, motherfucker. Good, now I can fucking crawl to the door. There's a bunch of zombies in here. If you have the assault rifle, you can make real short work of them really fast. Sure, get the map. That's all there is in here. Nice try, but no. Okay, one zombie left alive, barely. Look familiar? This is the control room from Underbelly also. Nearly identical. There's only one difference. Alright, here's the locker where the brass spectacles are at if you're playing as Alyssa. There's a memo about getting the V poison. The only difference is really this part of the control room right here. In the subway station, there's a red light flashing for some type of warning. And that middle monitor, I think, is missing. But other than that, it's nearly identical. Wait for zombies to break through. Oh, you want to get up and try an attack again? Okay, zombies down. Now, when you come into this area of the emission tower, the inside wall, there's one bee. I recommend killing it, just so it doesn't kill you by knocking you off of the little catwalk you have to climb across. This room has a locked door and 2 zombies in it. I recommend killing the zombies, but do not unlock the doors. If you unlock the doors, the zombies from the T-shaped passage will start breaking in. If you leave the doors locked, you'll have a longer amount of time before the zombies figure out how to break the door down and come after you, which you're going to need but you're going to need time to get the power restored. There's a puzzle with it. All right. Let's see. Give me a minute with these. I don't have it memorized. It's on a timer, so it'll reset eventually. But you can see in the right-hand side, it's for the elevator. You got to get the power turned on for the elevator. There we go. Got it. And they just figured out I'm in here. There's an iron pipe if you need it. Let's show you guys my battle stats. I use 0% melee weapons. I do not see it be very logical to let the undead horde get near me close enough to use a melee weapon when a firearm will do much better. Cindy thinks somebody's watching her. She's not wrong. Almighty government's always watching what people do every minute of their waking day, in violation of the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. So Cindy's not wrong in her feeling that somebody's watching her. Enter bees. Okay, see how she looks to the side? So there's an enemy over there. It's a bee. But if I walk, I'm less likely to trigger it. Now, if you try to sprint through here, you'll activate all of them immediately. You'll get like 4 of them on you. Kind of like what happened to me in the subway tunnel. Don't worry about killing the bees during this elevator ride. It's timed, and if you kill one, they just respawn. So your whole priority here is to evade. You're probably going to take some hits. Oh, shit. Now I'm in danger. Good thing I left that blue herb in the back square, because I'm going to need it. Ooh, my heartbeat's still slow. That means I'm at least in low caution, high low caution, or high caution. Okay, get back up to fine. Okay, there's the V poison. There's a green herb I'm definitely going to need, without a doubt. Great. Alright, fuckers. Okay. Okay, make sure I'm at full health. Okay, the incubator shuts off. This door unlocks. Okay, now, if you're wondering what happened to Arnold from Outbreak File 2 after he walked away in the one building next to the warehouse. This is actually Arnold laying on the stretching table here, exam table, and he's dead. All of his blood's been drained out of his body. You'll find a green herb. There are some 45 auto rounds for Kevin, if you're playing as Kevin. That's the only 45 auto rounds in the entire level. And Cindy and Greg finally meet.
My apologies for this place being so hectic. I have been monitoring your progress from here. I am grateful for your assistance. Daylight is it. The only resource against the T-virus. I cannot give it over to Umbrella. They are the ones responsible for the catastrophe which has befallen the city. In retrospect, that entire T project was a total disaster. Brute force should not be the only criterion for a weapon. It must also be beautiful, unique, and godlike.
And as you can see, Greg is off his rocker.
Going to play with my ultimate creation. Farewell. Almost time.
And Cindy looks up, notices there's some C4 in the ceiling, which means it's time to get the fuck out of Dodge. Seven minutes is more than sufficient time. And the reason that you get the 7 minutes is if you were playing online with 3 other players, you needed to wait for a total of 8 daylight regions for all 4 of you to get good endings. In order to get the good ending on this level instead of the bad ending, where your character turns into a zombie in the helicopter, you need to use daylight on yourself to clear the virus and finish with at least one of them in your inventory. It takes about 30 seconds for each one to be generated. Okay. Now, this little open panel, you'll find 10 handgun rounds hidden. Now, this door will take you to the president's room. There's the other 10 handgun rounds. And that is 6 of the 7 packs of handgun rounds you find on very hard difficulty. There is a Cerberus in here. You don't really need to worry about fighting it. You can outrun it. Okay, and as you can see, 5 minutes and 50 seconds down to 3 minutes and 20. It took about 2.5 minutes to get out of the university. So even if you have 4 players waiting on 8 daylights, there's sufficient time to make it to the back square without dying in the explosion. You do have to wait for the timer to expire before you can proceed further. Similar to below freezing point. Fortunately, I have no virus gauge, so I don't have to worry about dying from my virus gauge hitting 100%. If you listen to their ad libs, they kind of tell you only a few days ago when the outbreak happened at the bar. We know from the cut scene in flashback, if you take the big suspension bridge that leads back to Raccoon City, that the survivors used a full day trying to find the hiking trails when Alyssa dies and turns into a zombie. and only to turn around and wind up back in Raccoon City. So we know at least one full day occurred for flashback in the events that are recorded there. Now, if you're playing this level as Yoko, there's a little bit of an added cutscene with Greg before he gets shot where he references an incident 2 years ago in 1996. You won't find out what happened in this cutscene, but in Resident Evil Outbreak File 2, I think it's on End of the Road. If you're playing as Yoko, she'll have an ad-lib where she references that 2 years ago in 1996, her DNA and cells were used as the base for the T-virus. That was the experiment she participated in, but she has very little memory of it, and it slowly comes back to her in File 2. The university comes down on top of Thanatos, and you would think it was over at that point. But remember, folks, this is Capcom. It's going to be challenging, so it's not over by a long shot. If there is one thing I can say about Capcom games, they will test every fiber of your gaming ability to survive. I think it's Gil and Danny that are in the helicopter from the Raccoon Fire Department. Now, when you come out of that cutscene, there's going to be a bunch of bees from the ventilation tower having been exploded, and they're going to be pissed. So you're going to want to move quick. Don't worry about picking up items. Run in an S pattern. It makes them harder to target you if you run in an S pattern versus a straight line. Okay. There are 3 grenade launcher rounds right here. All right. And if you climb the ladder, instead of crawling over the bed of the truck, you will find 1 first aid spray on the scaffolding up here at the top. All right. I probably should move that. And you will find 10 more handgun rounds, making 7 out of 7 on the handgun round pickups. Now, once you drop off the bed of this truck, you will start a cutscene. Cindy walks towards the barricaded door, and in comes Thanatos R. He's just a little perturbed about having a building dropped on him, to say the least. Now, it's important to note that if you have the grenade launcher, you'll need 4 grenade launcher rounds on the locker containing the rocket launcher. All right. Shit. I didn't realize he jumped in the air. Duck. Quick. Get a move on here. this. If you manually aim, you can critical hit him. Now, when he covers up like that to rush, he's invincible. You can't hit him with anything. Shit. Good, I'm in low caution. Duck. Heal. Get a small cutscene with the credits for the directors of each of the 5 stages, while Cindy's running to the courtyard to get picked up by the helicopter. And of course, he's back for more. And is it me, or does it look like his biggest claw is his middle finger right there? I could be wrong. Could be the index finger. Now, if you're holding more than 1 daylight, there's an ampule shooter, which is essentially George's capsule shooter from File 2. And you can hit him with 1 daylight, and it's an insta-kill. There is 1 green herb in this area. It's hidden. I might need it. Shit. And the Beretta M92FS for the win. I don't know if those 3 players that I defeated back in '09 are out there or watching my channel. But if they are, this is what you were up against the whole time. Somebody who can beat the whole game with the handgun on very hard.
It's finished at last. But I'm out of a job. Oh. It's nothing. Don't be silly. You need to stop the bleeding. Yeah. There's any number of things I can do.
Now I'm going to let the credits play through so it'll play through to the epilogue.
Nokia Network Game Solutions. I wonder if that's the Nokia that makes cell phones, or did up until 2014. Or they signed a license agreement with Microsoft when Microsoft bought out their research and development division. They weren't allowed to make smartphones for 10 years or something like that. That's expired. They make phones again. Just interesting that Nokia is named in the link in the credits. You want to make a phone call from a mine shaft, get a Nokia. If you never want to make another phone call again, get an iPhone. And heir to the epilogue. And that's what's left of Raccoon City. Raiders.
Here are today's results. It's been 6 months, but the number's still the same. There's no way people could sustain life there.
Not humans. No.
Sir, there's a call for you from the head office.
Put it through. Yes. We'll be dropping 2 for each individual sample T4. The rest will follow in 15 minutes.
And leave it to Umbrella to build an outpost in the ruins of Raccoon City to further test their viral research on the T virus and the G virus. I got my best time so far. Result points are heavily nerfed because I used infinity mode. Like I said, on easy, there's enough handgun rounds to do it. On very hard, you have to put it on infinity. But, like I said, I wanted to make this video to show 3 players out there that used to play this game online what they were up against when they decided to taunt me in the lobby before starting a match on friendly fire. I know they weren't signed on when I got out of that match. I didn't see them the rest of the weekend. And as always, folks, thanks for watching.